Yeah, he trained today fully, but he won't play this weekend. He just needs one more week, I think. So sprained shoulder, sprained AC joint, just needs one more week.
What about selection? The first main question we ask every week.
Yep.
Changes. Holistically speaking, couple of three main roles.
Now there'll be a couple of changes. I think we've got to make some calls on some players that missed out in the last game, but also we've still got some players unfortunately out of form. You can sometimes have a break and freshen them up, mentally and physically, and look to get a better response. But we're still looking for ways to get our best 22 together, and we'd love to settle the side down. It's just a matter of getting that mix right. Yeah, you try to look at it at training form, and they boys have trained really well. They're saying the right things, and they look really sharp. And I think for a large percentage of our group, the buys come at a good time. They're able to just freshen up a few niggles and mentally switch off for a few days. We've still trained really hard through the break though. We had 4 days off. We had 2 blocks of 2 days, but we still trained really hard through the break too. So we look to get a bit of an advantage with some fitness stuff, and but yeah, I mean our guys train really well, and looking forward to the last 10 games of the season.
This is a question from Brian from listening to talk about radio and the fans on the street. I think that the other seems to be talking quite sharp in terms of performance. Can you just give me an insight of how he thinks?
Yeah, we've tried him in a few different roles this year, which is not really because of his form, but it's where we've sort of needed him. So at times we've played him just as a pure wingman. At times he's tagged the opposition's best midfielder. We've used him as a forward. He's a beautiful shot for goal. He's a great goal kicker. And then when we left Brent Riley out, we used him across half back early in the game last week against Richmond. So he's probably another one we look to just probably settle down. With Adelaide this week, we've got a few options we can play on him, and I know the skipper's played him a few times before. So there's a chance he could play on Adelaide this week, or we might play wing or half back, half forward again. But he's probably been a bit disadvantaged because we have thrown him around a little bit too much. Yeah, he's the exclusion to that rule. I think most sides do have to put someone on him. Even when he has been really heavily tagged this year, he's still had really good games. But if you just let him run free, he can win a game off his own boot. Other sides have tried to put best player on best player. So Geelong tried Steve Johnson on him and tried to try and hurt him the other way, but. I've played with him, I've coached him, he's the best player in the competition. He's going to have someone in his back pocket most of the game, I'm sure. When I talked about team defence, he still needs help. So one player obviously can't do it alone. You do need to make sure that you've got some help around him as well. We've got to pressure the entire Gold Coast Suns side, and I'm not trying to say he's a one-man team because they've got some outstanding young talent, with Mackenzie and Prestia. Have had really good seasons, They might get Bennell back this week, so there's plenty of guys we have to be concerned about the Suns. But yeah, Abbott's the one that can obviously light them up. I've been yelling a lot at training, yeah, but no, I'm like everyone. I've just got a bit of a sore throat from the winter flu, yeah. No, everyone's fine. Yeah, I think I'm the only one actually. Yeah, sometimes when you have a couple of days off, you get run down and a bit sick, but. I have been yelling a fair bit in this last 2 weeks as well, which probably aggravates it. Yeah, like every season, we have a look at the first 10, 12 games, work out what we've done well, work out areas for improvement. We've tried to cover everything from stoppages, attack, defence, kick-ins, the kick-in press, the defence. There's areas that we can improve across the board. There's not just one thing. Of course, we brought up our tackling pressure and our pressure at the ball carrier. That's another issue that's been a problem for 18 months. But across the board, we have to improve in every area. We've tried to look for ways to get some individuals back in a bit of form. But yeah, there's so many areas that we have to get better at in this last 10 rounds. No, some things have worked really well. I still like the way we attack when we get the ball outside the contest. We can still defend better as a group though. But yeah, there's not just one thing that we've tried to nail down in the break. There's been a lot of different things we've tried to ensure that we get better at. Yep. Yep. No, I hope he does. I hope Bix puts his hand up, and I'm sure he'll get contacted by the Melbourne Footy Club. It'll be a great job for him, and I'm sure it's one he'll do really well if he gets opportunity.
As an extension of that, David, and also you talked about, is he something that you expect to see after?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to. I'm sure he's going to commit to our footy club long term. There's some really great people that work at this club, and at every club, the good people always get headhunted, and you've got to try and make sure that you keep them somehow. And that's not always by giving them more money either. You know, you have to provide a football club that just provides sustained success. So you look at the best clubs in the competition. You know, the envy of the competition are your sides like Collingwood. And Essendon, Carlton, Richmond, Hawthorn, Geelong, Fremantle, West Coast, you know, the sides that are really well resourced and have really good people and also have a really talented young list. So if we want to challenge those top 8 or 9 sides that I just mentioned, we have to keep attracting good people here. We have to keep ensuring that we're providing really good facilities for them to train at, and we have to keep bringing good young talent into our squad as well. So that's the challenge. That's what every club's trying to achieve. I don't want to be a coach of a side that's always middle of the road. You know, I want to be a coach of a side that's pushing the top 4 every year. You know, so we're going to get our good people headhunted, but we've got to also do our own bit of headhunting as well. Yep. Yes and no. I mean, I had a great relationship with Stephen. I haven't seen him or spoke to him for 6 months, which is really unique. I've been really lucky that Rob Chapman, our chairman, has played that CEO role for the last 6 months, and he's been awesome for me. You know, I've been so lucky that I've been able to spend a lot more time with him than what I did previously, and he's been fantastic support for me when Stephen's been not here. But it's going to be great to get our CEO back. He's been in the job for 10 or 11 years and done a fantastic job, so I'm sure the club's going to get a real lift next week when he comes back. I guess different skill sets, but there's some things which, you know, Stephen's been here for 10 years at the coalface and knows the place inside out, whereas Rob Chapman being the chairman, I guess, and with his, you know, managing a bank, you know, he can provide a different sort of skill set, but yeah, Rob's sort of taken me under his wing this last sort of 6 months and been fantastic. I've just loved having him around, and I hope, I know he's got a bit of a taste for it now too. I think it's going to be hard for him not to come to work each day as well, you know, even though he's the chairman and he's got other commitments, but hopefully he stays around a bit more as well. Oh yeah, I'm sure it will, yeah. I know Rob's now, because he's been here every day for the last 6 months, even as the chairman now, he's seen the club, you know, right up close, across all departments. I know it's been reported there's been a lot of changes already, you know, that have been made since Nigel Smart's come on board as well. We're just looking to keep making this club better. So Stephen's been away. I know he's going to hit the ground running on Monday. I can't wait to have him back. I know he can't influence the football team, that's my job, but as a football club, I'm sure Stephen's going to make a big difference when he gets back.
Just on that influence of the football team, on reflection, I think it's pretty great. Do you think all that off-field stuff leading into the season has impacted on the players' form at all?
Oh no, I don't think it has. I know we've had a lot of setbacks this year and a lot of challenges we've had to sort of meet head on, and that's injuries and form and you know, CEO, obviously Dean Bailey not being able to work with the players and the coaches either. That's been a big challenge, but we'll just keep turning up for work, trying to get better every time that we come to work, and it's not an excuse. We'll put our hand up and say we haven't been performing up to the expectations we put on ourselves internally. So we've just got to look for ways to get better in this final 10 weeks.
You also said, sorry, you don't want to be middle of the road, you want to be pushing those top 4 teams.
Yep.
Is there a time, I'm not certain where you are on the ladder, and that where you perhaps more than like towards next year than this year?
Not at this stage, no. We won't look that far ahead at the moment. You know, our aim is to go up to the Gold Coast and beat the Suns. That'll start with our first contest, our first quarter up there. That's probably a question for later in the season, you know, if things don't improve. But at the moment, we're still really positive. We're still really focused on what we can achieve in the next few rounds, and that starts with the Gold Coast on Saturday afternoon. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we've just got to make sure that we just keep looking for ways to improve. that's individuals and as a team. We're still working really hard behind the scenes to make sure we keep getting better. We've had some players out of form. We've made some bad coaching calls, you know, some decisions we've made have been the wrong ones. So we'll look to get better at that as well. But ultimately, we've just got to get better starting this week. Simple as that.
That's that kind of week that talks about quite often. It's been an issue for 18 months. So how can that get better this week? Not 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, part of it's a mindset, you know. Some guys, I mean, it hasn't affected, say, Richard Douglas or Jared Petrenko when he plays. I mean, those guys tackle no matter what every week, you know. Some guys do need to improve their method, their intensity at the ball, but sides, for some reason, and we're trying to isolate those reasons, have tackled better than us. We do so many drills during the week. We had a really big summer on looking for ways to improve our tackling method and technique. We've had people come externally to try and work in our tackle technique, so we'll just keep looking for ways to make it better. Sometimes it's the personnel too. Sometimes you've got to say, well, this player's not as skillful, but he's a much better defender, you know, much better defensive player. So sometimes we might have to say, you know, we've just got to leave that player out and bring in a hungrier defensive player, which is a way that we might go in the second half of the year.
I think it kind of hurts the players' pride a little bit that some of the shows and that talk about the guys that are running really well forward of the ball, but not defensively.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly promote that two-way running, you know, and I know, say Richard Douglas is a great example. He's had a fantastic season and he's getting the recognition for being a two-way player. So he attacks with the same intensity that he defends with. That's that mindset that we're trying to get through our entire group. Yeah, I think there's a few. I mean, every week there's guys who have had really good SANFL form, but I mean, the guys obviously, Brent Riley missed out. He got dropped. He hasn't played any SANFL footy, but he's just too good a player to be leaving out for too long. He's had 2 really solid weeks of training, so he's certainly one. Kerridge, Crouch, Riley, Lyons. They're probably the ones that stand out. John Cock, obviously, although he tweaked the muscle in his back last week, but yeah, I mean, it's I guess Tambling's another one that he had has had 2 really good weeks for Sturt. He's another one that could come in this week. Yeah, that was the SANFL's call, not ours, on Monday. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that we sort of stuffed you around a bit on Monday, but we got a bit of a hint that with the conditions here for the Port Adelaide-Sydney game on Saturday, that they might not let us train on the main oval. The back oval, the Max Bashir Reserve, I don't know how it happened, but the ground got a fungal infection. I don't know how grass gets a fungal infection, but so we can't train on there. We can only train on the small oval, and we can't train on there. So unfortunately, we got sent to another oval, you know. So we had to go to Thebarton, and I know it was a late call. That was unfortunate, but we were allowed to train on the oval today, which was nice.
Talk about those the wrong coaching calls and advice for saying.
Yep. Not so much. I mean, our players are really good, particularly our senior guys and our leaders. We do have a really open sort of feedback sort of network where, you know, the players can say, I'm not sure if this was the right decision, and we can say to the players, you know, this was a poor decision. But I guess ultimately a bad coaching call is one that doesn't work in a game. So a lot of things go on gut feel, and decisions that you make are based on what you think is going to help you win. Sometimes they end up being the wrong decision. So I'm a man enough to know and to admit that some of the decisions I've made this year haven't worked, and there've been mistakes that I've made, but some of the quirky little ones that we've done have actually worked as well, you know. So we'll keep looking for ways to make the sides better, and we'll try and think outside the square with some of our strategy and some of our lineups and positions that we play players. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Yeah, you just still got to keep pulling the trigger on what you think's going to work, without being a sort of a cowboy with how you make decisions. You know, we try and look at the opposition, we try and look at our own squad and work out for ways that we can hopefully win the game. Sometimes those calls are the right ones, sometimes they're not. Yeah, I think one of my strengths, one thing that I do well, is I spend a lot of time face to face with individuals. So I spend most weeks with a lot of one-on-ones. That's with players in form, players not in form, and players in the SANFL. So that can be draining, but at the same time, it's really rewarding, you know, to spend as much time as you can face to face. So that's the generation of players that I'm coaching too. Is they need a lot of feedback as well. You know, back when I guess I was playing, you'd be lucky to get sort of hello out of the coach each week. You pretty much just see where you're playing and you go out and play. You know, but this generation of coaches players that we're coaching now, they thrive on constant feedback, and I think our coaches do it pretty well. You know, we spend a lot of time with our players.
Just when you look back at the last few games before the bye,
Yep.
what's more concerning for you? You haven't scored more goals in the last 3 games, and then
Yeah.
dropped like 16 and 18 in 2 weeks.
No, both. You know, we our last 4 weeks. I mean, the game against Fremantle could have gone either way, but our last 3 weeks have been really disappointing. You know, I think we've scored the 4th lowest score, and we've given up the 5th most score. You know, so attack and defence, stoppages, clearances, across the board, we haven't performed at a level that's been acceptable. You know, against some good sides. So we've got to get back on track straight away. You know, you can't have 2 or 3 weeks of bad form. You know, you can have a bad quarter and maybe get away with it, but you can't have 2 or 3 weeks of really poor form in this game. The system, the industry is too good now that they'll just eat you up.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.